Now, I know what some of you are going to say. How could you sit there and propose that question? TNA just had a great professional wrestling pay per view a week and a half ago with Slammiversary 2014. By God, they drew 2,500 people there. They did great. It was something positive, it was something that TNA could build on. Well, you know what? It might seem great on the surface, but at the end of the day, I'm still finding myself asking the fundamental question, why does TNA bother with pay per views? Now, here's my thing first and foremost is that TNA has always been a company throughout its history that has always been about TV and TV ratings first. And I don't think anybody disputes that. The way they structure their shows, the way they decide to do things, when they decide to do things, is always seemed to be geared more so towards television, their primetime show, as opposed to the show that you would actually expect people to pay for. And maybe again, that's part of the fundamental problem with the TNA. A lot of people sit there and say, why would I bother paying $35, $40, $45 for your pay per view when nothing is going to happen, when I could tune in next week on Impact and you're going to have something significant happen here and I don't have to pay any additional money out of pocket? I think it's a fair question. I mean, when you look at it, the last two world championship changes have both happened on an Impact episode, not on a pay per view. Eric Young, in that Daniel Bryan like fashion, winning the belt in one night after winning two matches with an injured arm, that happened on Impact. Bobby Lashley, right after Slammiversary, about 10 days ago. He faces off in that triple threat with Eric Young and Austin Aries. Doesn't get the job done there, just for TNA to turn around come Thursday last week on Impact and give him the damn world title. It's like TNA lives for the live television. It's like TNA is desperate to impress Spike TV and has been for years and is desperate to sit there and put up the best possible rating they can. They sit there and gear their show every week towards that and then hope the next day, by God, that the results that come in from the ratings from Nielsen are positive and that way they can move forward. And I get to this point in time, if you're going to sit there and have most of your significant title changes happen on your television show as opposed to your pay-per-view instead of primarily happening on the shows that you actually expect people to pay for and maybe once in a while peppering in one on a free TV, why sit there and bother having the pay-per-views anymore? I can't imagine from the outside looking in that they are all that incredibly cost effective for a TNA to do either. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, well, they just drew 2,500 people in Dallas for Slammiversary. Let's pump the brakes here for a second. Dallas, over the past few years, hasn't been the greatest market for professional wrestling, number one. Number two, you're going to tell me the same TNA that just recently drew 74 paying customers to a ballpark in Bowie, Maryland, the same TNA that consistently draws 100 to 300 people to a live event. A same TNA that for years has had to run their shows in an amusement park where people don't even have to pay to get into the TNA show, so that way they can have a cast member zone, if you will. The same TNA, mind you, that just drew like, 900 people to Bound for Glory, is all of a sudden magically able to draw 2,500 paying customers to Slammiversary. Yeah, fucking right. Exactly. That doesn't wash. That doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever, especially when you consider the context of they're getting ready to do their tapings in NYC in a venue that I think holds maybe 800 people, and they haven't sold that out yet. And this has been something that has been advertised for weeks and weeks. They have been promoting, well, the best the TNA can, which isn't very much, mind you, but for weeks and weeks. In a city of 8 million people, they can't get 800 people to buy tickets to their event to sell out the damn show. But I'm supposed to sit there and buy that they had 2,500 legit paying customers for Slammiversary. Get the fuck out of here. I'm many things, and I am an idiot at times, but I'm not that damn stupid. And my whole thing again is that with TNA, if you sit there and do a pay-per-view and let's say you have 15 to 20,000 people buy it, at 35, 40, 45 bucks a pop. You talk about having to pay the wrestlers more because it's a pay-per-view. You're talking about having to split that take with the cable and satellite providers and the cost of doing the show itself, the cost of travel and all of this and all of that. I just can't imagine at the end of the day that these pay-per-views are all that feasible financially for TNA to do. There is a reason that they cut back from the traditional format of doing one a month, doing 12 of them a year, to doing like 3 or 4 of them and doing a bunch of those one-night-only pay-per-views. So I get to the point now where I am asking the question. You're consistently struggling to draw a decent audience. It's not like the pay-per-view revenue is a big boon to your business. You're structuring your product and your programming in a way that you diminish and belittle and degrade the importance of the pay-per-views. You use the pay-per-views to build up towards the live free TV as opposed to the other way around. Why bother having the pay-per-views anymore at all? Why not skip the bullshit? Why not just maybe once every 6 weeks have a 3-hour special Impact or a 3-hour special show on a Saturday or on a Sunday or on a Friday night? Why not do something like that? If you're going to sit there and build everything towards television and everything you do is towards trying to drive up your television ratings, then why bother with anything else? Why bother having the pay-per-views? Especially when they can't possibly be all that financially prudent for you to do to begin with. I don't get it. Like I said, I'm supposed to buy that a company that can't even sell 800 tickets for their shows in New York City, I believe at the Hammerstein Ballroom, was going to be able to legitimately sell 2,500 tickets for Slammiversary. Bullshit. The same company that just drew 74 paying customers to a ballpark in Bowie, Maryland for a live event. The same company that consistently draws 1 to 300 people in high school gyms and other crappy auditoriums around the eastern part of the country is now sitting there and is able to draw 2,500 people. And part of the reason that they don't draw people, again, is because they don't market, promote, and advertise. Then why sit there and spend money marketing and promoting and advertising a pay-per-view product that isn't all that cost effective for you to do, hence why you cut back on your pay-per-view schedule so much. And furthermore, you're going to undercut based off of the way you write your shows and the way you book your shows and structure your product, and that everything funnels back to television, including the pay-per-views. You're not building to the pay-per-views, you're taking the pay-per-views and building towards the television. So if that's your focus and that's the thing that matters the most and that's the only thing that you're obsessed with and you feel that's the ultimate indicator of success or failure for your company, why bother with any of the other bullshit? Why bother with pay-per-views? Why bother with anything else? Just focus on the live television. Do that every week. And like I said, maybe once every 6 weeks, once every 2 months, you have a big 3-hour special show, whether that be in the regular Impact time slot, a Friday night, a Saturday night, a Sunday night. I don't know. But I just can't see anymore where it's justifiable for a TNA to do pay-per-views, especially when they're sitting there and expecting us to pay a premium pay-per-view price, knowing that the WWE, in their own idiotic ways, undercut the market by charging basically $9.99 a month for the pay-per-view. $9.99 a month, yet I'm supposed to sit here and pay $45 a month for a TNA pay-per-view. Get the fuck out of here. You're basically saying that a TNA show would have to be 4.5 times better than a WWE pay-per-view. And even the biggest of TNA mark to sit there and say that would be a whole different level of stupidity that I can't even imagine. I think it's time that TNA really looks at the beer and says, why bother? And that's why I wonder. Let me know what you think. Why bother with TNA having pay-per-views anymore? You think it's a good idea? You think they should do it? You think they should expand the schedule? Are you like me? Do you think they should do away with it? Should they keep doing things the way they are? I want to hear your thoughts on this topic, so let me know down below in the comments. I can't wait.